preferred method is to simply reduce the strike price. You've got a stock trading $100. They issue a $2 minimum, or I'm sorry, a $2 dividend. What happens to options simply is that option strike price gets reduced by the amount of the dividend. So now a $90 call option becomes an $88 call option. A $105 put becomes a 103 put, right? The strike prices get reduced by the amount of the dividend. That happens when we know the exact amount of the dividend. It also, there is criteria that must be met. Just because you cannot anticipate the dividend payment, or just because it's not part of a established dividend program, doesn't mean that every non-ordinary dividend requires an adjustment. There are some criteria. Those criteria are outlined in 54262. But assuming that the dividend qualifies for an adjustment, the preferred method is to simply reduce the strike price. Everything else is the same. You still have the same number of contracts. You still have the same deliverable, 100 shares per contract, et cetera. There's no new trading symbol. All of that remains the same. The only thing that changes, your strike price gets reduced. And the reason being is this allows call buyers specifically to capture that dividend without forcing them to exercise early and lose out on all that time value. Remember, last week we talked about exercise and assignment. One of the things of exercise, or one of the warning signs of early exercise, was an upcoming dividend. And this is, kind of the second step of what we had talked about last week, that if there is a non-ordinary dividend being paid, and it does qualify, it meets the criteria for adjustment, the preferred method is simply to reduce that strike price. If the exact amount of the dividend is not known, or if the dividend would result in a $0 strike or even a negative strike, let's say stock's trading $10 and we've got strike prices of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, et cetera, and there's going to be a $2 dividend. Well, if I had a $1 call, that $2 dividend, if it reduced my strike price, now I've got a minus $1 call, and obviously that can't happen. So what we do is we simply take the value of that dividend. If it was a $2 dividend, it equates to $200 in the real world. That $200 gets added to the deliverable. So now the deliverable becomes 100 shares of the stock plus $200 in cash. We've got a new deliverable. So what does that mean? We've got a new option symbol. So we would have a numerical suffix at the end to tell us that contract is no longer a standard 100 share deliverable contract. All of this is outlined and explained again, 54262. Non-ordinary dividends is something that we do get asked about a lot. Dividends are paid on a regular basis, both ordinary and non-ordinary. And I should also I should also stipulate that just because a company says we're issuing a special dividend or we're issuing a non-ordinary dividend payment, the company isn't the one that makes that determination. OCC and another entity called the DTC, Depository Trust Corporation, we are the two organizations that determine whether or not that dividend meets criteria and requires an adjustment or not. So